I had an Evel Knievel cake when I was 3 years old. So that's the furthest back I can remember is my third party. And I had mentioned that to the Channel 4 folks a couple weeks ago, just talking about birthdays. And I'd said, when I was 3, I had an Evel Knievel cake. So they showed up at my office for my 55th with an Evel Knievel cake, and they'd put my face superimposed as Evel Knievel.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Evel Knievel was a really big celebrity and jumped over a bunch of cars back in the 70s
and over the Snake Canyon.
That's right.
Grand Canyon. And, he broke almost every bone in his body because he crashed all the time. But he was the first real daredevil before what you see today on social media. And so he was very Evel Knievel. Every little kid wanted the Evel Knievel motorcycle, the Evel Knievel outfit. So I have an Evel Knievel cake now with my face on it.
See, you're about the age of my brother. He had one of those Evel Knievel dolls that you roll, you wind it up and then it jumps over.
And then it would jump a ramp.
Yes.
Yep, I had that too.
Yeah, only if you had it today, it would be worth a lot of money.
I suspect it would be.
All right, so I love how your birthday is around Valentine's Day. So do you celebrate it all at once or do you do it separate?
Well, no. Obviously, Valentine's Day is not about me at this point. It's about my wife. I do remember some of our first Valentines when I first got married and I had no money. And I would always forget to make a reservation, and you'd show up and it would be a 3-hour wait because that's when everybody goes to a restaurant. And then I was married a couple of years and I'd forgotten to make a reservation, and we showed up and it was going to be a 3-hour wait. Look, I'll talk to anybody. I walked up to the next people in line and say, hey, I just started making conversation. And they called her name, and I invited myself to their table. We sat with 2 people we'd never met, didn't have to wait, and just sat and had Valentine's Day. So, but today, moving forward, normally we'll do something. This week we won't because my daughter is in the lyric play, The Waitress, and that opened last night, and we went to it. And so my wife's wanting to go to most of those or a lot of those, and so we won't do something specific for Valentine's Day. We're going to go see another lyric show, The Waitress, which if you haven't seen it, everybody should go see it. But next week we're going to go out to Seaside, Florida, and just have my birthday / Valentine's Day.
Oh, Florida, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be better weather.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of romance in the 80s and Valentine's Day, I thought we would talk about some 80s romantic comedies. My favorite has to be Say Anything with John Cusack and Ione Skye, where he holds up the boombox and plays Peter Gabriel. That's got to be my favorite from '89.
I mean, you have Dirty Dancing, you have Risky Business, you have Big, you have a lot of those. When Harry Met Sally, which that iconic scene when she's talking about faking something, and so. But I would have to go with Dirty Dancing was a really good one back in that day. So I would Splash with Daryl Hannah.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one when she was a mermaid.
Tom Hanks before he was in blockbuster movies.
That's right. Coming to America with Eddie Murphy. So there was some really good ones back then.
Yeah, they don't make them like that anymore.
No.
Why? Why?
Because now it's the same script on Hallmark videos. You can walk into a Hallmark. My parents watch those all the time.
Oh yeah,
and it's the same storyline. Guy comes home, talks to the girl who's living in town. She didn't leave. He did. They meet back up, and in the end they're together. But she's got a boyfriend, but then she loses the boyfriend. So now it's just all the same script.
And then something happens to her business. And
he's there to rescue the day.
Yes. Well, I kind of agree with that. Yep. There's nothing like the 80s romantic comedies. Let's talk about snow and weather and ice. We really lucked out the other day.
We did.
But if it had been worse, there's a lot of people having accidents. Even then, because I saw ambulances on my corner going to rescue people that fell. If you have fallen and had an accident in weather like this, how can you protect yourself? Is it your fault? Is it the people's fault that own the property? How do you do that?
So it's a good question. We get calls all the time for people that have slipped and fallen on the ice during bad weather. If it happens in the parking lot, people will call and say, I fell in the parking lot of some Walmart, pick a store. It's not going to be Walmart store. They do not have a duty to maintain this huge parking lot and clear it of ice. That would be almost impossible to do. They do have a duty to maintain a safe area around the door when you're coming in. So if you slip and fall in the parking lot, you're not going to have a claim. If you slip and fall because there's ice right by the door, the entrance where they want you to come into the store, you are going to have a claim. And to that extent, let me tell you, the number one injury we often see, people should not walk. I know it's cold, but do not walk on the ice with both hands in your pocket. That's the number one injury is a broken elbow because you're unable to get your hands out to catch yourself. You need to always have at least one hand out, no matter how cold that hand is, so that if you fall, you're able to break your fall. Because if your hands are in your pocket, you're going to fall, and your elbow is what you're going to try to put out, and you're going to break your elbow, and that's a tough, tough injury. So if you're going to walk on ice, which sometimes we all have to, don't do it with both hands in your pocket. It's an accident waiting to happen.
I didn't even think about that, but that's true. If you don't have any gloves on or mittens or whatever, Yeah, your elbows or your hips even, because you've caught yourself on your elbow, but then you've gone down on your hip too.
Exactly right. And so you have to have at least one hand out. So that's the number one injury we see. And every time I see somebody walking with both hands in their pocket on ice, I'm thinking, what are you thinking? Take your hand out so if you fall, you can break your fall.
You're walking like a penguin.
Yes. It is tough because your hand is freezing. It's cold. But at the same time, you don't want that injury. You need to have a hand out so that you can break your fall.
Yeah, invest in gloves. Invest
There
in
you go.
mittens.
There you go.
There you go. Pretend like you're skiing, but you're
But
walking on
it
ice.
was cold. I mean, look, if I wanted to live in Fargo, North Dakota, I'd have my parents stay there when I was born as a baby. I don't want to live in Fargo, North Dakota. This is their temperature. This was crazy.
What is it Will Rogers used to say? If you don't like the weather in Oklahoma,
Just
wait
wait
a minute.
5 minutes. Yeah, wait a minute. Exactly right.
All right. Thank you so much, Noble McIntyre, McIntyre Law. As always, it's a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.